how many Minecraft prisons are there? If you started counting, you'd probably see a lot that you've never even heard of before.
If you go into YouTube and search inescapable Minecraft prison, you'll find tens of thousands of fan-made builds and cells and escape rooms, most of which don't have world downloads or are just awfully built, so terrible you could barely even call it a prison. Now obviously escaping every single one of those is impossible. I don't have enough space on my computer to download thousands of Minecraft maps, and even then it would take over a year to get through them all, and I don't have that much time. But why would you? Most of these are obscure prisons made by 4-year-olds 6 months ago. So if hypothetically you wanted to escape every single one, you'd have to put some bounds on what counts on your escape list. First, let's say that a Minecraft prison must have a world download. That's pretty fair. If it doesn't have a download, you can't escape it. It also has to be on a version of Minecraft that you have. I, for example, don't have Bedrock Edition, and I've never escaped a Bedrock prison. Also, since there are so many cell designs out there, and mining 4 or 5 blocks to get into one of those isn't very impressive, let's say it actually has to try to be a prison. To define trying, I'm going to say it just has to put a little bit of effort to defend from an outside attack. That's it. Just some conscious thought about outside forces, and that counts as a prison. Alright, so that already eliminates a ton. This is starting to become a possible list. Speaking of possible, anything that isn't possible to get in survival probably shouldn't be allowed in a prison. However, there are so many famous ones that use block 36 out there, it wouldn't be very fair to kick them off the list. So let's just say if you can get the block in survival, then it's possible. And just because I'm so nice, I'll allow Bedrock. Well, I've done all this work to narrow down the list, and there are still hundreds of prisons that apply. And most of them are so obscure you can't find them no matter how far down you scroll. So I'm going to have to make one final criteria. The video that publishes the prison must have at least 1,000 views. It's technically arbitrary and it sounds unfair, but I have to draw the line somewhere, and that's as low as I was willing to put it. Like I said, once you go below 1,000 views, most of the prisons are built by 4-year-olds, and I just don't have the time for that. And so, my requirements are complete, and so is my list. A list of every single relevant Java Edition prison that exists. How many are there? As of this recording? 60. And I've escaped 52. So let's get this over with. Ken, wait, didn't you already escape Ares Vault? Yeah, no, there's actually 2. I didn't know this either. The second one is made by this guy named Fnort. It's an old one. In fact, it's older than the more famous Ares Vault. What's notable about this one is the exit portal for visitors is always enabled, which, nah, that's not a security issue. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, this one's pretty easy to speedrun. Get straight to the cell. Alright, 7 to go. What's next? Guardian's Vault. Man, I can't believe I went all this way without ever escaping Guardian's Vault. So to start my escape, I just barely slipped through a gap between the chunk bands, which is only 50 blocks wide. Then I'm going to painstakingly mine through this indestructible dirt until I mine to this obsidian room. I'll pearl glitch into it, and that's the cell right there. So I kind of just hijack it, throw some harming pots in, and then dig straight down to the bottom where the respawn point is. Hades Vault. Well, no, this actually isn't the original Hades Vault. It's the one that was created for a blind escape challenge that I hosted on my Discord. I was gonna have a bunch of people create prisons that I would have to escape without knowing what the inside looked like. Unfortunately, all the recordings were very boring, so we had to cancel. But the prisons that were created still exist, and some of them actually qualify for my escape list. What I'll do is I'll sneak in with invisibility during the entrance process and wait here by the portal. Once I'm certain the guards aren't incredibly alert and they're relaxed, I'll pearl across the lava over here and dig straight down and disable the suicide button. Then in about 5 seconds, I'll disable the other suicide button up this ladder, and there's not really much the guards can do before I pearl into the cell and set the prisoner free. Next, we have another submission from my prison challenge sent by Mining Blob called the TNT. What's interesting here is there's an entire layer of end crystals and then a layer of TNT. To solve this issue, I'm going to use a couple pistons to retract some of the TNT blocks, and once there's a gap, I'll swim into it and place a trapdoor so I can sit in this space where I can safely mine without destroying end crystals. From here, I'll use a sponge and some blocks to get through the bubble columns and then mine down until I find the fox and set it free, and then it's dig straight down to victory. If they activate the suicide, it'll only be enabled for 5 minutes since it's just a dropped item. Now we have one called the Chaos, and honestly, this one was so chaotic, I genuinely couldn't find anything. So the Chaos kind of worked in its favor. Fortunately, I have a fix for that. Instead of knowing anything about this prison, I'm just gonna place some chunk bands around the perimeter to ban everything in the prison except the 2 blocks where I'm mining down from, and then I'll just dig straight down. Honestly, I'm struggling to imagine an alternate reality where I somehow care less about this prison. Our next victim is called The Box. Ooh, I'm so intimidated. Okay, so once again, I'm going to sneak in with invisibility during the entrance process. And then once I'm sure it's safe, I'm gonna mine this block. And wow, it's the guard hallways. So I take the guard hallways to get straight to one of the redstone lines I need to get to. And then I kind of just, go to the cell. There isn't a suicide, so there's nothing the guards can do. Plus, unless there's someone actually in this hallway, there's no way I can be heard. And there's no point to be in this hallway except for the entrance. The Matrix. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pearl onto the roof and then I'm gonna dig straight down. I have no idea what this roof detector is. It's really trying its best, but... So then once I get to this 1 block tall room, I'm going to pearl until I get above the cell and then dig into the cell. There's no composters looking here. In fact, there aren't any hallways anywhere nearby the cell. So it's literally impossible for the guards to detect me here. So we have the TNT, the Chaos, the Box, the Matrix. I swear if the next one of these starts with the, I'm gonna... Oh, the Pulsar. You know what, I'll admit, when creating the Pulsar, I really just wanted to see if it was possible to build an involuntary prison that was as cheap as it could possibly be. Unfortunately, I've come to realize that it just didn't work out. But to be fair, it was more of an experiment than a prison. Regardless, I have to prove that it's escapable. It's already been common knowledge that it could be possible to pearl into the center area. I've figured out the exact coordinates and angle at which I need to throw a pearl at terminal velocity in order to have it land in the 2x2 center area. Now obviously I'd get banned by the ZPI when I teleport here, but I can very easily rejoin when it gets lifted so that the prisoner can enter. Then I just have to dig straight down and there's nothing the guards can do to stop me since there's no suicide switch. Oh yeah, that was another thing. I wanted to be able to build it without a suicide switch. Yeah, the Pulsar really didn't work out. Not even mentioning how easy it is to wither in, and some people can break out of the cell by mining and other people can't. The concept was great in spirit, but in reality there is no good involuntary prison. On the bright side, that's it, I've completed my entire escape list. That should be all 8. Something should be happening, I don't understand. One of the lamps isn't lit. What? I'm certain, I have a video for every prison on my list. Something must be wrong with one of them. I'm gonna have to check back through every single one. It was over a month. Valid. No, further back. Somewhere there's gotta be a mistake. Vault 69. My first ever escape video wasn't valid. It was back when I knew so little. It's also my only escape video to come before Ilios Citadel. Honestly, I don't even count this as an escape, but over the last 3 months, I've learned and grown prison after prison. This time I'll escape Vault 69 validly, in 69 seconds. You see, it's been common knowledge for a long time that it's very easy to do a portal escape on Vault 69. There's only 4 trap portals and none of them relight. Of course, most of the structures of the prison are built below y=70, so generating a portal won't obstruct anything directly. However, it's not built below y=48. It's possible to use TNT minecarts to destroy the ZPI at the bottom. And now that I've forsaken the Pulsar, I can admit a crucial flaw with ZPI prisons. If the server ever restarts, the guards will never be able to rejoin the server. And since auto panic isn't on by default, it's impossible to enable the suicide switch. Unless the guards somehow manage to stay online for months and months, never going AFK, I can still pull off this escape since it only takes a few seconds. So all I have to do is destroy the ZPI at the same time that I enter the prison, and dig straight down to the cell. The time will end once the prisoner will have had enough time to pearl next to the portal and enter the nether, leaving a grand total of 69 seconds. That's it. I've won. I've done it.
I'm ready. Let's begin.